Denver Broncos Mile High View. No commercials, no bullshit. I apologize for the long delay between videos. I have to pick up where I left off, so I'm kind of behind. Shit hit the fan, and I almost lost my damn mind. I needed some time to just get away from everything. So anyway, that doesn't matter. What matters is this is the Joe Flacco and Happy Thoughts edition. Anyway, so God, I got to get back into this. Sorry. So where I left off was I was, as you know, kicking the old tires on this Joe Flacco deal. And it's not that I hate Joe Flacco. It's nothing to do. Actually, I've defended Joe Flacco over the years because he was always Mr. He isn't the answer, even in Baltimore. But now all of a sudden, there's all this spin going on with Joe Flacco. So now it's my turn to put on a happy face and try to come up with some sort of a happy spin, something positive, People out there say, think positive. Think positive. So I'm going to try to think a little bit positive about this this trade. Joe Flacco is what he is. I mean, he's an older quarterback, a decent quarterback, but older quarterback, high injury prone, which is, I think, going to probably play a problem next year on a team with one of the league's worst offensive lines. Now, there is a lot of I call delusion going on out there with this trade. If Joe Flacco was all that in a play-action system, why would teams be going for the Russell Wilsons, the Lamar Jacksons, just Cam Newtons? If he was the answer, why are you getting fired? You can't ignore that. You also can't ignore another delusion the Bronco fans have is the offensive line. Well, we got one of the best offensive line coaches now, and that's true. They got a good one. But even with a good one, a lot of these fans have no clue, just really, and they don't want to see really how awful the offensive line is. And if the offensive line wasn't as awful as I've been saying it was, the thinking people over at Dove Valley wouldn't be out to get the best offensive line coaches. So obviously that was a problem. And with Joe Flacco being a not so mobile quarterback, and of course I got flack for that, but he is coming off hip surgeries. I mean, remember Craig Morton? And Craig Morton was a hell of an accurate passer. The guy could put a football through a mail slot in a door. But the problem here's what has. This is the positive thinking. Here's the positive thinking. The only way that really this can work, in my opinion, is that the Denver Broncos create plays where Joe Flacco can get rid of the ball sooner than probably he has been in the Baltimore Ravens system. But when you have play action, it usually means the play takes a little longer to develop, and that's why the quarterback rolls out, that kind of thing. So it just seems like the Denver Broncos do everything backwards. I mean, they hired Case Keenum, who would have been great in this system because he is a much more mobile quarterback, and he actually has a higher completion percentage with shorter to mid-range passes. And that's about 90%, 85% of most teams' playbook. Joe Flacco's positive sides is, did go to a Super Bowl. It's had these comebacks. He has a winning way about himself, and not, that's the positive. But he's not that Joe Flacco anymore. That's the downfall. That was the younger, more mobile Joe Flacco. So it's almost as if, when they got Case Keenum, they should have been running a play action, and they did more of a pocket quarterback. Now they got a much less mobile quarterback, and they should probably be running more of a pocket quarterback, quick throw system. And of course, they won't do that. And it just, I just get the feeling that what's going to happen is the Broncos are going to be putting all these plays together that are going to take too long to develop, too much time to develop, and Flacco is going to have a very dirty jersey. And he's going to probably, before the season is up, probably sooner rather than later, end up on the IR. And when that time comes, and I'm sitting here, I'm going to ask you, why were you listening to all the hype and not to the voices of reason? I'll ask that. I don't listen to the hype anymore. I just, take it for what it is. Now, if Joe Flacco can get rid of the ball a little bit quicker than he has been in Baltimore, and the plays are designed to move the chains a little bit like that, and, once in a while, well, of course, they're going to have to revamp the offensive line so they can actually not be shut down in the running game when the teams concentrate on shutting down the running game. As soon as they did, it was San Francisco, and they were like one of the worst teams, and they had no problem doing it once they actually said, okay, well, we're just going to shut down the running game, and they did. Nobody could block. So once, they got that solved where, stopping the running game is much more difficult for them when they actually want to stop it. And, he can get rid of the ball. It could be a very effective offensive system, the new receivers with a year under their belt. But we'll see. My gut tells me that they're going to be the same old Broncos making the same old mistakes over and over again. Prove me wrong is all I can say, Denver Broncos. Prove me wrong. It'd be great. You don't know what you're talking about. You're wrong. That'd be great. That'd be wonderful. But either he's going to be injured, and what did we really solve in this? What was it was the $18 million worth it? Oh, and the money. There's this talk that the Broncos are going to save, $10 million by getting rid of Case Keenum, but I think that's pie in the sky. When I look at their numbers, the everything's guaranteed for him except $7 million for playing in the season. That obviously would not be paid for, so he's not going to be playing, but everything else is. So I think they're saving, about $8 million, not $10 million or more. I've heard more, but I think you're looking at about close to $8 million, but not quite $8 million. But again, where could that 18, and that's the thing, at the end of the season, I'm going to ask, where could have that $18 million gone that went to Flacco?